All right, so we are gonna create another mask. I'm excited about it. I have to tell you that, when I first saw the animated dog talking, I just thought it was kind of hokey. It's not my favorite thing, but it is fun to do, and it is something that you can refine and make better. But these are really good starting points for masking, um, and working with green screen. It's great to sort of start off sort of low level because you're doing complex work, but do it sort of with low level work so that you can then do more refining as you perfect this. And that takes a while. It's not an overnight thing. So um, it did crack me up doing this, and I hope it will make you laugh and bring you some cheer as well. So I'm going to show you what it is, and then I'm going to do it again so that you can do it along with me. So we know that we started out, well, I shouldn't say we know. We started out with the, um, let's see, we started out with a head um, of someone talking, and then we masked it out so it can look like it's the dog talking. And I'm actually going to move it up a little bit higher. Actually, let me go here because I need to make sure. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to show you this. So you see the innocent, cute little dog, and then you see this mouth come in and starts talking for the dog, and then you see it come out. Okay. And the dog's facial expression is just cracking me up because he's just looking like, what in the world? Okay, so let's talk about how you do this. And, I can show you some of this here, but I'm going to do it so that you can follow me doing it. You can see that I have my mask that I created. So there's two ways that in this chapter they discuss it. I'm going to go ahead and hide these and bring them in again. Actually, I don't need to bring this one in again because I've already done that with you guys once. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring in the video again. Um, and of the talking. So I'll just show that again. And then, of course, we have the doggy below. Um, and there are, in this chapter, they go over, this section of the chapter, they go over two different ways to do the mask. One, and is the quicker way where you can just, as long as you selected the layer, so let me just point to that again. As long as you first selected the layer, okay, of the video, that, and you come up to your shapes and you click on elliptis, you can then draw the elliptis across and go ahead, and you do have to do some more settings. So I don't want you to think, oh, I can skip here and get to the next thing. Don't skip yet, but you could go from here and then begin to do some of the work that you're going to need to do in feather and in mask expansion. Okay. However, I am going to show you the other way too. So this is the first way where you just click on the shape that you want and then roll that over to create it. So keep in mind, I'm in the layer of the video. Okay, you don't see the rest of the video here because I've masked it, right? And I said, hey, I'm going to use the elliptis tool to mask it. And so that's why you see this here. I would then go into doing some refining under feathering and then under mask expansion. Um, okay, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hit undo simply because I do want to show you how to mask using the points, the information, because that is something that you do want to know how to do. And so as I'm looking at this, I am paying attention to my exponent, my exponent points. So let's also bring in our ruler, and let's bring in our guidelines. So remember your guidelines, once you have your ruler here, all I have to do is click on that ruler, and I'm just going to put it where I want um, everything to go. So here, and I'm just going to click here. Oops, undo. I'm going to make sure I'm on the point tool, and that's a really good thing to make, good point to make. I was still on the ellipsis tool, so it thought, or the shape tool, so it thought that I wanted to draw that when I clicked down, but always make sure you're on the selection tool when you're just doing things like creating your guidelines, because you could mistakenly put on a command and not realize it. And that is what I had just done, so it's a good example. So I'm just tightening this up. Okay. And so, it's a nice way to work. So then you can really look and see your numbers. So when I scrub over this, I can see my numbers up here, um, up here. And so if I look here, I can see what the X and Y is. Um, and I can see it here, as well as here, as well as here. I'm going to give you the numbers so you can write them down. Okay, so I'm just clicking on it so you can see this. And the numbers I give you are going to be slightly different, but I'm just clicking on them so you can see them. Okay, and so with determining the size or the shape and the dimensions of that shape, once you have that, so as it says in the book, someone could be giving that to you because they want you to get the precise ones, or or you may have to determine the precise numbers yourself. Once you have that, you're going to keep again your layer, selecting the video layer, right? And then I'm going to go into layer, which you guys have done before. I'm going to go to new. I'm going to go to mask, I'm sorry, and then I'm going to go to new mask. So essentially right now you have a mask. You see the magenta um, bound box around it. That's a mask, okay? But I actually really do want to set it to what I want it to be. So I'm going to open that up so we see it right here. And it already says add. Make sure yours says add. Okay. And then I'm going to go to shape. So see, it says mask path, and I'm going to go to shape. And when I click on shape, these are the numbers that I'm going to want, that I recommend that you use. You can figure out your numbers and put them up there as you like, but these are the ones that I recommend. And then of course we can move them around if we need to. So 320 for the top. For the right is 1220. And for the left is 380. For the bottom is 880. Okay? So again, you can see that we chose an ellipsis. If you haven't, definitely choose that. Okay? And once you have this, and I'm leaving this up here long enough so that you have time to write it down. And again, you may find that you change this once we see it. We may move the ellipsis around. But this is what the dimensions that we have. Make sure you have it at ellipsis. And then I'm going to click OK. And mine is not at the ellipsis, which is really funny to me. It does say this, but it's not showing me it as an ellipsis. Let me switch it for a second. I'm just curious. There we go. So the problem that I had, I always like showing you guys when I actually when something goes wrong, because it's because it may go wrong with you, and so it gives me an opportunity to show you like, oh, okay, that didn't work. What do I need to do? And so I'm going to show you this. See where this check mark comes on to reset. So that's on now, so it will reset. But when I was resetting it to elliptis, this wasn't on. So I'm going to click it off so you can see what happens. It was like this. So it says elliptis, but it's not checked to reset to. So when I do that, it doesn't change. So I'm going to go back in there and then click on it. So then it is set to make that change. So that was sort of a happy accident, so to speak, because it allows me to show you sort of something that was unexpected in case it happens to you. So as I was saying, and I have my selection tool right now, I might move so a few things around. And so that looks pretty good. And what I might do also is I'm going to get rid of, I'm going to go into view and say clear guidelines because I don't really need them anymore. And again, if I want to pick this up and move any of these, my elliptis around the shape a little bit, I can. You can refine it. There's nothing wrong with doing that if you choose. And you've used the pen tool already, so you know that even if you wanted to add to this, you could. But I don't need to. So I have this already done. And I'm pretty happy about that. But now I need to do a few more things, okay? So I'm going to need to scale it at some point. But, and you can scale it first, but I'm going to go ahead and feather it. Here it is under feather mask, mask feather. And I'm going to go ahead and toggle it to 80. And see how I got to 88? I'm just going to type in 80 and hit return. So these clocks aren't on. I am going to start the clock for mask expansion in one moment. Okay. And for mask expansion, I'm going to start it. I'm going to bring this down here. And I'm going to go to frame 108. There we go. I'm going to hit return. So now my playhead is at 108, and I'm going to start the clock, and I'm going to start the clock at 0, which by default it's already there, right? Then I'm going to go back to my time, and I'm going to change it to 104. Hit return, and I'm going to change the time at mask expansion to -320, and then hit enter. And there's my key. I see the key. And I'm going to go ahead while I'm at it and go to 401 or 401. And that one is going to be at 0. And so I can see it's already at 0. And so again, I'm going to go ahead and add a keyframe right there. Now I've done that. I'm going to go back up here and put in 404 and hit return, and then change the time here to -320 and hit enter. So now I have the movement. I do have to shape the face or the mouth to the face of the dog, but that is the actual animation I want. Okay? So now with that in mind, I'm going to make sure the dog layer, all the other layers are locked because I have to move things around now. So I'm going to minimize my mask, and I'm going to go into my transform because I'm going to scale the mouth, right, down. And I'm going to use my rotate tool, and I'm actually going to use two tools. I'm going to use my pan behind, and I'm going to use my rotate. So I'm going to use my pan behind because I don't really like that the anchor point is up here. I actually want it to be here. And this is a tool that we've used before. This is a tool that we've used before. And so let's see if that comes up again. Sorry. Let's see. I'm going to put you over here. You could tell there's a couple of things going on, so I better make sure that I get this video done for you. So with my pan behind tool, I'm just going to go here, and then I'm going to get that rotate tool, and I'm going to rotate it like a so. And then, and it's the third tool, the selection tool, and bring it up. Okay, and that is, when you do it, it is very funny. It will give you a chuckle because it is funny. Like I said, it's not always when I see it, it's not always my favorite stuff, but it does. It will, at least I hope it makes you laugh when you do it. And so you can refine this in multiple ways. See how I'm just scaling it on the sides like this, to make it sort of be more shaped to the dog's face, just because it is a little fun. And again, I'm going to scrub across to see that it's talking, and then it's going to fade out, right? Because that's what I wanted it to do. All right, so now I have that set, and once you do that, you should be saying yippee-yi-yay, because you did a great job. Okay,